The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Quirky Dog Podcast, inspired by some of the quirkiest dogs you can ever imagine, and the owners who love them. This podcast is brought to you by the quirky couple themselves, Scott and Jess Williams. Their aim is to educate and entertain. Here's Scott and Jess.
Real quick.
Happy New Year, guys. 2020. Here we are. Today we have Scott and Jess and Dave. This is our dear friend Dave. He owns the whole joint. He has two guys, cigar shop and the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the whole thing.
Yes. May I?
Oh, please. The inaugural.
Been dying to do that.
Need to break it in.
Yeah.
The inaugural oink. So we're going to have Scott smoke his first cigar ever today on the podcast because Dave is here to walk us through it. But first, we're going to start with the quirky tip of the day. I need a pig voice. All right, perfect. If we get to it, we're going to talk about a few things that you could do for your dogs in 2020, kind of some goals to deal with. And my quirky tip of the day here is write your goals down, you guys. It's important. Something is not going to happen until it's on paper. So if you have a goal for your dog this year in 2020,
it's like
you
a
go write it down.
motivational episode.
Oh, God. You guys already got the glasses out. All right.
Pay no attention.
Happy New Year. Okay, let's not start anything on fire. How do we make this happen?
You ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All right.
I'm a little apprehensive.
Scott never smoked a cigar before, but
I
you
haven't.
have.
I smoked crack once.
Yeah? Well,
That was back in the mid-'80s.
we're not going to inhale like you would on crack. So the first thing you do is take the cigar out of cellophane. Because I see people come in the cigar store and they smell the cellophane. I don't know what they get out of it, but you smell the body of the cigar, which is a cross. And this happens to be Ecuadorian Connecticut shade tobacco.
Smells good.
Then there's the foot of the cigar, the open end. There's a head and a foot. The foot, you smell in there, and that's Honduran tobacco. And Honduran tobacco has a unique aroma to it. You know those yellow raisins, golden raisins?
Yeah.
Does it smell like that to you?
Exactly. Exactly.
It does.
He took the words out of his mouth.
So it's Ecuadorian wrap.
The outside wrapper, inside is Honduran tobacco. Honduran has that golden raisiny type of smell.
Yeah.
So if somebody hands you a cigar and says, hey, this is a Cuban cigar, and you smell it, and you smell that. No, it's not. That's Honduran tobacco. Everything has its taste and aromas and flavors and stuff.
Right.
So that's one thing you should do with a cigar is actually use all your senses when smoking a cigar. So we're going to taste it, smell it, feel it.
And that's hand-rolled?
Hand-rolled.
Beautiful job.
So it's La Gianna. La Gianna came out in 1994. My daughter is Gianna. We were having a baby.
You named her after the cigar?
Nope, named the cigar after her. But actually the cigar got to me before she did. So it made it here first. So we have to cut the cigar. It's not open on one end.
Right.
So you have to cut a little bit.
You don't just bite that off?
No. And see the little hat on top of it, the little cap that they do? If you cut below it, the cigar just unravels. That's all that holds it together. So you don't cut a big chunk off it. You just cut a little bit. So
that's all.
Here's a cigar cutter with training wheels on it, Jess.
Oh, boy. So I thought you were going to do this for me.
You can only cut it so far on
Careful.
here. But
right, so I'm here, right?
Yep, just go as far as you can and push down and cut.
Squeeze.
Did I do it?
And that's perfect.
Nice cut.
Hey!
So
Happy New Year!
There we go. So I'm going to give you the ones with the training wheels also. Yeah. And I'm going to cut mine because I'm a pro. I don't need the training wheels on it. And I can just cut mine the same way, right?
They do look similar. Honey, what do you have? Oh, not bad, babe.
Good.
Your first time. Not bad.
Give me a case.
Here we go. Addictive personality? Could be.
That's my husband.
So now we're going to taste the cigar before we even light it. Okay. Just take a draw like you'd be drawing in a cigar. Remember, we're not going to inhale. So you draw, taste it in here, and taste a little bit of maybe a little vanilla-ish, maybe a little almond.
Raisins?
By the way,
raisins and almonds.
By the way, there's no almonds, raisins,
almost like
or anything.
granola.
It's only tobacco leaves, but it doesn't taste like what you thought it was going to taste.
Not at all. Very mild. We don't have to light it, do we?
Which is going to be. Then it's going to change. Then the whole world is going to change as we light it. Now, when we light a cigar...
So do people actually taste it like that before they light it?
Yep.
Only people that know what they're doing.
Yep.
I feel fancy now.
So it tastes clean, though, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't taste muddy or anything like that, or earthy, as they call. a lot of people, the biggest problem that happens when people light cigars is they light the cigar wrong. And remember toasting marshmallows and you put the marshmallow too close to the fire and the marshmallow turned black immediately. Yeah. And then even if you took the black off and you tasted the marshmallow, it still tasted black, soot.
Amateur.
That's exactly what happens when they light a cigar, that they actually burn it and all they taste is soot. So every cigar tastes the same instead of these subtle flavors that we're tasting already and smelling already. So the key to lighting a cigar is to light it in the center of the cigar and up, and then turn the cigar and toast it, like toasting a marshmallow. After it's toasted for a little bit, I'm going to do this.
That doesn't look like a lighter with training wheels.
No.
But it does remind me of crack.
Yes, it is a jet lighter like the old crack days, right?
Happy New Year.
Right. So I'm toasting it and trying not to burn it, center and up, and not scorching the outside.
You don't need to dry in on the cigar. You just
not yet, just toasting it. And then I'm going to bring the cigar up to my mouth, and then I am going to draw in, but the flame will be far away, and the cigar is going to light up. Now remember, not inhaling it in my mouth, bringing it into my mouth, just into the cheeks, and then blowing it out. And basically spitting out the smoke after.
Scott, you can watch this live on the podcast.
There we go. So
I'm going to get a picture of you.
See how far away I am?
Yeah.
That old butane gets going.
Very impressive.
Well done, Dave.
I'm a pro. Then I blow on the outside just to see if it's perfect all the way around. If it is, the next hour is going to burn perfect all the way around.
It smells good now. All right, let me go first because we
do
know
the
I
same
won't die.
thing?
I got an inhaler for Scott
And
if
here's one
things
for
go
you.
south. Oh, I can't be responsible for that.
You're not going to do this?
No, I'll
right, so
do
we're gonna
it.
You have to gently turn.
I can toast the marshmallow.
All right.
All right.
So do this, though.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna do the whole. Wow. Start in the middle.
slowly
Yeah.
turn.
And
Slowly
you
turn.
do
Slowly
yours.
turn.
Yeah, just try not to scorch it.
And you don't want to burn it.
Center and up.
I'm
Beautiful.
trying, center
You're
and
getting this. Is this like dog training that I'm training you how to?
Not quite like dog training.
No,
It's
don't
all-
pull the
It's
collar.
easier to fake, smelling the wine and circling it in the glass than fake this. Am I doing it okay?
Yeah.
All right, is it
Good.
lit? Give it a
Yep, you're
sec.
scorching it a bit. See how it's scorching?
Okay.
Oh,
Because
yep.
you're not center it up. You
All
turn
right,
the cigar.
Yep.
So mine's good, though,
Okay,
right?
you're ready to go.
All right,
So
now
you put it in your mouth, and then I'm going to light it as you take a hit.
Oh, this is
And
good. It's
blowing
just
it
like
out.
a macanudo. It looks good. Not as perfect as
Scott,
Dave's.
this is going to be your first
Good
draw
luck, honey.
ever.
Put it into the right side.
I think so far.
All right, so you're going to take a draw. You're going to put it in hold it in your mouth and just blow it out, like basically spitting out the wine.
You're not inhaling. Woo! Look at it
There's
go!
your first.
Happy New Year! Not bad,
You actually just broke your cherry.
How
Thanks,
crazy-
Dave.
There we go. You never forget your first.
Oh my gosh! Tastes pretty good, huh?
Yeah, not bad.
This is mild. This is good.
I was wondering what Ed's been doing over there the whole time we've been.
Our producer, he smokes a cigar every time we do a podcast. So Dave actually has a podcast on Saturdays called The Cigar Authority, and his is much more entertaining than ours.
Not true. Not true.
But you can learn all about his cigars there. He's a big cigar connoisseur, and they use cowbells there. So we got the cowbell thing going on today too.
Yeah, and also he has a podcast called The Cigar Authority, as
That's
well
what I
as.
just said.
No, well, you're talking about the stores.
I know. I said the cigar.
Oh, and he's
This
written a
happens all the
great
time
book.
with us.
Listen,
the cigar's already going to his head.
I like the fact that he put a marketing book together called David versus Goliath.
Yes.
About brick and mortar marketing, which is a thing of the past now.
Yeah.
But what is old is new again.
That's it.
It is coming around.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing early numbers here for Christmas, and brick and mortar's doing pretty damn good.
Good.
And millennials are actually starting to get off the internet and going into stores to socialize.
Yeah.
But while they were there, they happened to spend about $350 this weekend buying stuff. So maybe they'll remember going to the mall and
Like the good old days. You didn't just buy on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. We were listening to the Jay Shetty podcast, and really
Who
a
the
lot
hell
of
is
these.
that?
Oh, shut up! A lot of these social media people are trying to get people to actually meet up in person. That's the whole point, that you create a community and everything else. So head back to your brick and mortar, and if you're in any of the New Hampshire stores, check out Two Guys.
Well, he's also available online. You can get the cigars online
Yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, we do it every way. But I'm a brick and mortar guy to heart.
What's the website? Two Guys Cigars?
TwoGuysCigars.com, the number 2. So every minute or so, you got to take a puff and blow it out, or else it shuts off.
Yeah.
So when you're done smoking the cigar, you just put it in the ashtray and you walk away. And in 1 minute, it shuts itself off. You don't stamp it out like a cigarette person does. Right. This has nothing to do with cigarettes. It's not the same as cigarettes. It's a whole different world.
I heard they put something in the tobacco for cigarettes that make them burn faster.
Yes, they do. And they also, it's a saltpeter type of thing to keep the cigar burning. And there's all kinds of ingredients.
That has some other effects too, I think.
Yep. But this is just tobacco and water, and that's all that makes up a cigar. It's different than everything else. But here it is, New Year's, and it's a celebration of a new year, 2020, and many more, and good luck with this year.
We're gonna be smoking cigars at home now. I can see it in his eye. He's enjoying it.
It is a relaxing thing. I'll tell you, the majority of cigars,
I could use something to
real
relax.
cigars.
I mean,
Scott's so uptight.
jeez.
But 1 or 2 cigars a week is the average cigar smoker. Me and Ed are way crazy,
way beyond.
much more of that.
You get a couple of those before lunch.
That's the average person. There's no addictive quality to it, unfortunately, as a retailer.
Well, psychological.
You want it because it's relaxing, but you don't see people standing outside restaurants in between a course or something
picking
having a
up cigar butts.
Yeah, our business actually drops in half in the wintertime. 50% drop.
Really?
And then the summer kicks in, and there's outdoors and
the golfing. People like golfing.
And different things like that. So it's a whole different thing. But
I will say my dog loves cigars.
Oh, perfect.
When I grab one, he knows it's time to go sit outside. He gets all excited.
Because you get in the right headspace, and he's getting in the right headspace.
My guy, we lost my dog this year, but
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, rough. It was 12 years Labrador, chocolate lab. We got 12 years out of him and everything, but he was the same way that he, I smell like a cigar all the time because I'm around it. But he loves me when I come home, and when I would grab a cigar to go, he would come and sit with me while I'm smoking a cigar. So it's not like he went the other way. He actually went closer to me.
Time.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, a little bonding time.
Yeah.
But I'll
like
tell
an
you,
echo today.
as far as the women go, it is completely the opposite.
Oh, were you talking over there?
Yeah, it's completely the opposite. That it keeps the bugs away and it keeps women away. I light a cigar somewhere, and
let me take
part of my personality.
I'm getting closer, Dave. So be careful. So when do we tip out the ash here? I don't want to start the whole place on fire.
It's too early now. Let it get
right.
a little bit, because when you do take that ash off, the cigar's going to get hotter. And the flavor's going to get not as good as it is right now. So that's kind of cooling the embers right now. You don't want to make a mess and make a giant ash or anything.
Yeah.
But
it's better to leave a little head on there.
Yeah,
huh?
let it get about an inch. And then when we're going to take the ash off, we don't flick it like a cigarette does. We just place it down in the ashtray.
Oh, and it does it on its own.
And it just pushes down.
That is classy.
And doesn't light up and get a real red head at the end of it, because you want to go slow and easy, and there's no rushing. It slows everything down. And a lot of people walk their dog and get a cigar, including there's a guy, Mike, downstairs.
Because the wives don't let him smoke in the house, right?
He does it every single day.
There's actually one downstairs called the dog walker.
Yeah,
because
they
it's
are
the perfect size.
Small cigar.
That's a good gift for your dog walkers this upcoming year, guys.
You know, I don't know if this counts as a cigar, but when I was in the 4th grade, I smoked a cherry Tijuana Small.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Scott's just trying to relate.
You know what? That's how all of us, in our generation, and I'm your age, that we went into those little package in the cigar store, in the drugstore or whatever.
Yeah.
Ended up having a little pack of cigars. It's machine made, processed.
It's just a little bigger than a cigarette.
Yeah, and it's brown.
Because even when we talk to big cigar manufacturers, a lot of them started with Swisher Sweets.
Yeah. Which is another one
Similar,
like that. Yeah. This is premium handmade cigars, which is a different world, and nobody needs it. It is a luxury. It's a luxury item of somebody burning a $10 bill or whatever. But I'll tell you, you can go to the movies and spend a couple hours at the movies, or you can light up a cigar, and it's a 2-hour vacation.
And this is certainly more social than that. So the people that put this out and the minute goes and then it stops being lit, do they go back and smoke it the next day? Like, do they last?
Well, I don't know about the next day, but, say you were called into dinner or something and you put the cigar down, and what a shame, you only smoked a quarter of it and you got 3/4 left. We do the same exact process we did. We wipe the ash off, and then we do the same toasting thing. But instead of drawing in as we light the cigar, we blow out.
Oh, okay.
Let it burn off a little bit.
It cleans out the embers that
That's
it
a good
instead
idea.
of drawing. Remember, the ash is what I'm telling you. If you scorch it, what you taste is all scorch, like the marshmallow.
Yeah.
If you drew in this ash into it, that's what you would end up tasting throughout the whole thing. It's a sponge. It's going to bring on anything that's around it.
Okay, so a few hours it can sit. But
yeah, even 12 hours later or something to toast it. The next day, I don't know, maybe it's going to absorb a lot of those ashes and things, but it doesn't have to go to waste. It's just not going to be as good unless you get to it soon enough.
Yeah, you look good, hon. How are you enjoying it?
I feel I'm not sick yet, so I guess I'm doing okay.
We haven't got the puke bucket. All right, Ed, we got to go to break because the boys are never going to put their masks back on unless we start up again. So that's the only way I'm going to get them going with their masks.
2020.
I know.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Does your dog seem anxious? Would you like your dog to relax? Do you want to feel more in control? Would you like your dog to cooperate? HowToCalmYourCanine.com. That's HowToCalmYourCanine.com.
All right, you're kissing it. Put it into your teeth.
Yeah.
And then draw.
Okay. Get the teeth in there.
It opens up a little bit on the
We're
end.
smoking cigars. It's Happy New Year time.
And I still didn't get them in their masks.
Yes.
Happy New Year! I'm so excited about these. It's like a masquerade party with all the little dog things. Look at this. It's great.
I just saw a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger going to work. He comes into his office, which is
Put
a
your
huge
glasses
place,
on there, pal.
and his dog is in there, and he goes right to his humidor and opens up a big thing full of cigars.
Yeah.
He grabs one, sits at his desk, and gets to work.
So we're talking about smoking cigars with dogs, and you guys should. It's a good way for mindfulness. But another thing we wanted to say that you could do in the new year is just spend 10 minutes of quiet time with your dog. The dogs like to be with you, and the reason that Dave and Ed and Arnold Schwarzenegger's dog and everybody likes to be with them when they smoke a cigar is they're in a good state of mind. Dogs like to be around you when you're calm. So think of that.
If it's going to take a cigar to get you to sit with your dog, go buy some damn cigars.
No, it's true. We do a live meditation on our Facebook page every Monday at 8. And it's just a 10-minute thing, but it's with the dogs. Dogs like peace, and people like peace too. And if you're not seeking out peace, you should start doing that in 2020.
You meditate with the dog?
Yeah, we put him at our feet and meditate.
And he stays there with you?
Well, put him on a leash and just step on the leash so that, we're not putting him in a obedience command. We're not telling him down. We just have him there beside us. We'll step on the leash in case he wants to get up and start fooling around or jump in my lap, just to stabilize them. But after you do it a couple times, they just know that routine. They just hang out there and relax,
Yeah, it's just good to get in the habit of doing things with your dogs. And your dogs like you guys calm. So like Scott said, if the cigar gets you there, do it and then get the dog involved.
Well, and then the vice versa is really more the case. If you're stressed, your dog is stressed. They pick up on all of your energy,
Well, I miss having a dog. He's only been gone a few months, but we're talking about waiting till May because I'm going on my first vacation in probably about 25 years.
You're always on vacation.
Yeah, I'm smoking cigars and sitting around, right? But after we get back from a vacation and not have to worry about the new pup is why we're going to wait.
Yeah, you want to get rid of the snow and everything too. Yeah.
So maybe
what are you guys getting?
In June, that was my question to you. So my first dog I had was an Akita, and he was rough.
He's a little mean.
He didn't get along with anybody except us. He was great with us, but having people over was tough, and he was a maniac. Loved him, but he was a maniac. And this last one, Dean Martin, he was a chocolate lab, and he was quite the opposite. But I was afraid that the bad man's going to come in, the burglar, because he just roll around and get him on his belly.
He wasn't very useful.
But I love him.
Yeah.
And
it's always better to have a social dog than one that you can't have around people.
Yeah. Where should I go? And
did you like the lab?
I loved him.
I'd get a lab.
Yeah.
And if you can get a working lab, like research some breeders and stuff, but
get them conditioned to the cigars early on, right from 8 weeks.
No, really, labs. You had a kind of a goofy lab, but a working lab can really be a nice dog, and they're well bred, and they're fun to be around. They do stuff. They don't want to just lay around.
When I heard you in a past episode mention that you feed them raw food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Raw chicken.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if it were a puppy, we would you could either just give them the straight meat, or you could take a mallet and pulverize the chicken breast.
But like if we ate raw chicken, we'd be sick.
Yeah, but
Probably,
dogs and wolves in the wild, I mean, they're just pulling apart dead animals.
Yeah. Well, their digestive tract is very short. Stuff goes through them very quick. With us, we have like a mile of intestine.
Yeah, hit eat and then go outside to go.
Yeah, and their the enzymes in their stomach, the acid in their stomach is brutal. They kill everything in their stomach.
And if you're freaked out about raw, you can feed home cooked. But the dog food, it's not regulated. I mean, our food's barely regulated, but the dog food is
I always thought that too. You pay big money for some certain dog food that's supposed to be better than the others. But and some people would argue, oh, don't feed them off to your plate and stuff. But I got to imagine the food on the plate is better
than what they're
Yeah, I think the food off the plate issue is just you don't want them begging at the table. It's not that the food isn't good for the dog, but if they're always eating right there, they're always like in your business while you're trying to eat.
But it's proteins, not carbohydrates.
Well, we give them some sweet potatoes, some carbs. You know,
and,
when we throw veggies in there.
Fruits and veggies, no onion. But the more balanced their diet is, the healthier they'll be. And the more you expose a young dog to more proteins early, the more hopefully set up their system will be to accept things moving on. You know, because if you only feed beef for 2 years and then you say, oh, let's see what salmon's like, then sometimes they can have an issue. You're almost ready to get your ash off there, pal. I don't want you to have a problem.
All in time.
Yeah, look at you.
Oh, my God. It's going to go right on the mic.
A couple of benefits to the raw is that their poops are like chalk. They're not all stinky and typical dog food poop.
Small.
And they don't drink water all the time because they get so much moisture out of the meat. The meat itself is like 90% water or something, you know? So they're getting a lot of moisture in their system. So like with kibble, they eat the kibble, then they go and gulp, 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 drink a bunch of water. And then that stuff expands in their stomach. You know? So there's a lot of benefits to it.
And the kibble, they have recalls all the time. And even when we have recalls for human meat, the dogs probably aren't going to be affected by whatever that was going to affect us because their systems are stronger. And that brings me to also, if your dog is overweight in the new year, guys, shed some pounds. Like Scott said, if your dog's fat, table scraps, they only get carrots. But it is crazy how much portion control can actually take a dog's waistline and slim it right down. It's not so much diet, but just portion control. If you're free feeding them, think about feeding them on a scheduled feeding schedule. And exercise helps, but really, if you're feeding them 3 cups a day and they're barely finishing it and they're overweight, give them 2 for a little while. Let's see those pounds shed. And go to the vet every month. Weigh them in. Make sure you're losing at least a pound or 2 and you're heading in the right direction.
Once or twice a day? Once or twice,
yeah.
It depends on the dog.
Young dogs, twice. If you get a lab, it depends on how active they are, too. Like if you got a lab and you said, oh, I want to take him hunting, he should probably have a little breakfast before he runs out and he's, actually out in the field all day. It just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just like a person, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you're lazy, cut your middle.
Yeah, you don't need to eat 3 meals a day.
Well, and I feed my dog twice a day in the morning. Sometimes he'll just leave it.
And you have a big dog.
Yeah.
But then you have the cultural stuff because the Italians, they love with food. You're going to love that dog rated to 400 pounds.
My guy was too heavy. They said all the time, you got to go easy on him. And that's because I was eating too much myself.
Yeah, it just gets hard on their joints. Babe, you're doing so good. I'm so impressed over here.
Well, I'm just, it's a natural thing for a man to smoke a cigar.
I didn't know this about the teeth and the lips.
No, you look good with it and everything. You feel good with it?
Yeah, I'm doing
He's a natural at things.
Did you think it was going to be heavy or,
I thought it might be a little harsher, but I think this cigar that you picked is probably a more mild cigar.
This is, to me, like birthday cake type of thing, vanilla birthday cake with frosting on it and
nice and
little
smooth.
Sweet and smooth and...
vanilla cake and almonds and raisins. It's the whole thing.
And there's 2 versions of this. There's a darker version, which is called Maduro. Maduro means ripe, and it's a blacker cigar. And it looks scary black that it's going to be strong, but it's sweeter because of what happens to the wrapper in that case, but not all cases. So you go to your brick and mortar cigar store and you talk to them because a cigar person is not like a cigarette smoker that smokes Marlboro cigarettes and that's their brand. They bounce around all the time, more like microbrew beer people, like people that are into coffees and things like that. Oh, what's this, a Guatemala roast? Let's try this. And, that's the beauty of it, trying something different all the time.
So adding a flavor to the tobacco would be a blasphemous thing, I would think.
It happens. There's such a thing out there, but,
but anyone that knows what they're doing wouldn't get near it.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
Ed?
I figured.
You're not in, shaking his head.
Never.
What about like bourbon? Do people have cigars and bourbon all at once?
but I, and I'm a taster and Ed's a taster actually from some magazines that when you read the reviews and write-ups, we smoke blind cigars with numbers on them and say, what does it taste like and how is it? And
like a wine guy.
Yes, and in order to do that, it's black coffee or water, and that's it.
Well, that's why I was going to say. I assume the stronger bourbon or whiskey would take the taste away.
It's going to affect it one way or the other. And some people to a better degree that they like to drink a drink with it or whatever, but you don't ever want to overpower. The drink can't overpower the cigar can't overpower the drink, or you've ruined both of them.
Especially if they're numbered. You start by the time you get to the last cigar, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Black coffee and water. That's good
That's
for
the
your
way
complimentary
that's the way I
too.
go
That's
and-
perfect. That's right up Scott's alley with those
Some
two.
people like a seltzer, kind of a sparkling water. They think it clears their palate a little more, but not flavored.
Yeah. What's your number one selling cigar at the store?
What's your most expensive?
I would say
too?
Padron is number one. Padron is a Nicaraguan. It's very full-bodied, and it's one of those that I'm telling you, most cigar smokers bounce around, but when it comes to Padron smokers, those are the most loyal, that they smoke more of that than anything else and bounce a little around. So
that reminds them to go back to their favorite cigar.
Very good cigar. But then again, it's, what is the best cigar? It's whatever you like. What's the best dog, right?
Yeah.
The one that you have.
You can see
love.
how he measures best. He wants to know the most expensive one right away. We're going to buy that one to go home.
I knew they wouldn't be one and the same because the people that like to smoke the same one every time, if it's real expensive, they're going to not smoke as much.
And then there's labels, the band that's on it, and it has a name on it, and they say, it must be great because it's this brand, and that's not necessarily the case. That's advertising and marketing and things like that. And as you get to know the people, I know the people that make them. I go to all the tobacco fields and farms around the world and get to know them, and it isn't always price. Certainly there's you can't get a $2 cigar and it's going to be the greatest cigar, but you don't have to get a $40 cigar, nor should you, especially if you're new to it. But when you get going and your tastes are good, then you should try something that's outstanding.
Yeah,
or says it's
at least you can appreciate it.
Right.
Have you ever had any rollers come in here and roll?
Yeah, back in the day. Now we can't. FDA has controlled.
Oh, really?
us
They won't let you do that,
It's
huh? Because that'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Have a roll party?
What about counterfeit? You have counterfeit like they do with the wine or no?
They do counterfeit Cuban cigars all the time. As a matter of fact, in the U.S., they say they sell more counterfeit Cubans than they do real Cuban cigars because they're illegal in this country. And people bring them in every once in a while and say, Dave, what do you think of this? And I can smell it basically.
Tell them
that's Honduran.
Yeah.
But it's tough because I say, no, just enjoy it. You really don't want to know.
Well, now that you can, there was some tourism going on in Cuba, but you still can't bring a box back with you?
You can bring them back if you travel outside of the country, but you still can't buy Cuban goods in the United States.
Oh, okay.
You can bring it back like a souvenir.
But it's remember back in the days with Coors Beer. Oh, you lived on the West Coast anyway. I
heard about it.
We couldn't get it here, and
I lived here.
Oh, really?
I grew up in Mass.
Then? Okay.
He was born here and moved there.
Everyone talked about the springs and the goddamn Coors beer.
I went to Virginia to
Tastes
buy
like water.
cases of Coors beer, and I put them in my refrigerator when I was the coolest kid on town, and I had Coors, and nobody else did, and it was great. And then we could get Coors beer, and I realized Coors beer sucks. And guess what? It did then too, but you couldn't get it.
Right.
And that's
that
Cuban
scarcity.
Cigars. That's Cuban cigars. That's the deal. When it's going to be ruined after that happens.
Yeah.
Look at you already leaning back and relaxing.
I'm loving
shoulders
it. I
are
could
down.
do this. I
never
do
saw
this
you
every
lean
week.
back like that before.
Yeah, well, you have
Notice
a certain
she's got
way
a
with me.
little thing on the table there just in case.
What do I have? That's for Scott. I didn't know how this would go. I brought the inhaler in case Scott needed albuterol.
I'll tell you, that's what it does. It relaxes people, and it's so nice you having me on here on a New Year's, because some things that happen on New Year's is this is when I'm going to give up smoking, not start. So Scott starts smoking on New Year's.
This is what happens. This is always how Scott runs. Hey, what about your cigar box? Tell them about that. Is that something people can get year-round? Your shipment? Don't you have some shipment?
Oh, the monthly shipment?
Yes. So on the Cigar Authority.
You tie that right in with the bark box.
Oh, yeah. Cigar. That's a good one. We should.
You can do this. So here's what I do. This is a great idea.
Oh, my God. The two of them.
Wow. My eyes just lit up.
You get a dog biscuit and a cigar.
So we had people writing to us on our podcast, the Cigar Authority, and we've been doing it for 10 years now. And they said, can you tell us what you're going to smoke next week so I can go to the store and get that cigar and smoke along with the show? When we say, wow, there's some vanilla hints in here and stuff, they could be tasting and say, yeah, I get it or whatever. So I said, yeah, I can do that. I'm reading the thing. And then it dawns on me and I said, well, I'm in business. Why don't I send them the cigars automatically? So I created the Cigar Authority Care Package where you get 4 cigars every month. So those will be the 4 of the cigars we'll smoke during the month.
And then you had to commit to the podcast because these guys got their cigars out there.
$24.99, which was basically a cigar of the month club that we were doing. And we would get 20, 30 people a year that would do cigar of the month. We have 1,000 people on the Cigar Authority doing the care package, getting 4 cigars a month at $24.99, including shipping, and 1,000 people. So it's business-wise, it's reoccurring revenue, but they get so much more than $24.99 because
they get a little education at the same time.
The manufacturers want their cigars to be tasted also.
Yeah.
So they give us a tremendous deal to be into the package. So we have to talk after this because this is the answer to do this.
And you could poll all these people too for all kinds of feedback on these products too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you guys need Scott's address for the cigar box, I'll be happy to share it with you. I think he's ready to commit.
If you out there listening make a dog product, what would be better than to have all your listeners try this? Maybe it's a little treat. Does the dog like it? I don't know what. I don't know enough about this, but there's something there. And let me tell you, it's a big win for the manufacturers to participate, and they want to give me all the cigars. And I say, no, just one a year from each company, but everybody throws himself at it because they can get it tasted by 1,000 people at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't, what that costs to end up pulling a tasting thing like that?
Yeah.
So,
and they're all watching the podcast at the same time.
And probably a lot of those people don't have access to a shop like yours where they can go in and get a nice cigar.
Yeah.
They're just going to 7-Eleven and getting the best they can.
And sometimes launching new products, and we have it first, and all these people get to try it at the same time, and maybe a test brand or something that didn't even come out yet, see what you think of that. So sky's the limit even with you guys. You guys can test a lot of things. I think we have an answer. 2020. Let's stop making some money.
New Year's resolution. Well, Dave has a 2-hour podcast, so I'm going to have to cut them off. But you guys make a resolution for your dogs this year. Do something behavioral-wise. If they limp, fix their limp. Make one resolution for your dog today on top of you guys.
If nothing else, sit with your dog for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe once a week. If you're real busy, you have this big, expensive, busy lifestyle,
and
take a break.
buy a cigar. Thank you, Dave, for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Take care,
Year.
guys. Keep it quirky.
Ruff, ruff.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.